Hello everyone, welcome to Colby's Quarantined Marketing class. I believe this is episode 3. We've talked about setting our goals. We talked about last time why marketing is important to reaching those goals. Next, we're going to talk about another aspect of your marketing plan that is important when designing your advertisements, knowing how you're going to put out your marketing materials, what kind of marketing materials you need, different things like that. So today's focus is on the target market. Now, the target market is not necessarily your customer base. That's going to be your first instinct. Might be, my customer base is who's in my store, it's who I see, it's who enjoys what I do. But they're not necessarily always the one making the purchasing decision. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. For example, in our dental clinic, a lot of our business comes from children and their oral care. Well, they're not making the decision to come to the dentist. A child is never going to say, you know what, Mom, I want to go to the dentist. No, it's that is going to be the mom or the dad that's making that decision. Hey, our kid needs oral care. We might not ever see the mom in the chair, but we see the kid. So when we're creating an ad, or if we're looking for who our customer is, who we need to be speaking to, we look towards the mom. We say, all right, what does this mom care about? Why are they making this decision? And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. A target market is something that a lot of people are familiar with already, but might not know exactly how to define what a target market is. So one thing that is the easiest way for you to understand your target market and to keep up with who that customer is to make that one person or 2 people or 3 people, but those are your target market are based on these buyer personas. So let's create a buyer persona for a bookstore. All right, so if we have a bookstore, maybe we have a section that is all about history, about World War II, World War I, all the major wars. Then we have another section that is teen fiction, and then we have another section that is kids' books. So we have these 3 aspects of the store, and we have other books too, but these are the 3 best sellers. So we're looking at 3 very different people. We're looking first at a history buff, probably male, loves to learn about World War II. They're probably someone older, let's say 50 to 70 is their age range. And they are repeat customers. They're going to keep coming back and finding new books. So that's kind of building out, and we're going to call this person Tim. So after you've identified who this person is, kind of their basic stuff. What's their age? Are they male or female? And what are they purchasing? Those are kind of your building blocks. All right, well, now let's go deeper into who Tim is, what he likes to do, what his job is, how he uses our product. You want to start building out that person. Another way to find a little more information on your person and your brand personas, your buyer personas, is going to be if you look at, I like this site called My Best Segments. It's Claritas My Best Segments, I believe. I think it's also owned by Nielsen, the one who does all the TV tracking and stuff like that. But just Google My Best Segments and you'll be able to find it, and you'll be able to see what your zip code, where you operate, a little basic information. You can pay for it, but there's a lot of good basic information on what are these people's income level looks like. What are their, do they spend more time at home or do they go out a lot? Those are the kind of things you need to know when building out these buyer personas. So we look at Tim and then we see, all right, Tim is more likely to stay indoors, doesn't necessarily go out a whole lot. Tim likes to sit by the fire and read late at night. That's whenever he's reading our reading our war books, our history books. He's a hard worker. He's maybe we found out that he's a blue collar worker. He has a manufacturing job at a local plant or something like that. So that's all good information to know. All right, if that's what our person looks like, and he's a blue collar worker, he likes to read after a long day, how are we going to start marketing to him? That's why that's so important to build out that buyer persona, is to say, okay, I'm going to start putting up billboards with our World War II books up next to the sawmill and the lumber manufacturing plant and the cotton plant, all those places where where Tim might work. That would be the way we're going to start segmenting him. And when we have those pieces too, we want to be very specific towards what we're advertising to Tim. We're not just going to put a big billboard up that says bookshop now open. We're going to put up a billboard that says come dive into history, learn about World War II, ABC books, something that's geared towards that target buyer persona. And then we'll do the same thing for that second, for that teen fiction. We're going to look at that. All right, are they the ones making the decision to buy those books, or is it their parents? We got to figure that out. We got to dig deep into that teen fiction part. Maybe we find out it is a teen and that they go to the local high schools. It's typically more public school than private school kids that are in there. Great, let's do a book campaign and make a partnership with the local high school or something like that for your second persona. And then the third, you sell a lot of children's books. You're not going to be advertising to those children. You're going to be appealing, maybe you put some online ads and you appeal towards the persona that you build out of what these moms look like. What do they care about? They care about education. They care about their children having the very best. They care about their children not sitting behind the television. So that's how we build out those buyer personas. And that's why they're so important when putting together our marketing pieces, is to understand our target market through those buyer personas in all of our marketing. That's how you build out your buyer persona. Those buyer personas are important because they are the people that you were marketing to. Instead of, we're gone is the day where you just put out broad messages. We are now targeting our messages. We're targeting who we're giving those messages to, and we need to know who that person is, because if we don't know who that person is, they're gonna go somewhere else. Instead, we know who our customer is, we know what makes them tick, we know what brings them into our store, and that brings them more into a relationship with us where they want to be ambassadors for our brand, not just customers. So that's it for today's lesson. If you have any more questions, please reach out, colbycmitchell@gmail.com, and I will talk to you soon.